and then Chris. Last week was a big week for Disney on Disney Plus, because
Oof.
Wednesday we had the final episode of Star Wars Ahsoka, and then on Friday we had the first episode of Loki. Now we have heard everyone else's thoughts on Ahsoka at the very least. Maybe more people will have seen Loki by now, but let's begin with Ahsoka. Like very quickly, what were your thoughts on the finale?
My thoughts? It was
Yeah,
awful. I thought it was terrible. Did not like it. It was not a satisfying ending. It failed to accomplish what it needed to do, which is make us care about this journey and these new characters. I think it's due mostly to the terrible writing. I think all the actors are actually fine. I even like the actress who plays Sabine. I think she's perfectly fine. It's the writing for this show, and it's they're constantly teasing the next thing you're gonna get. Well, make something happen. We finally got Thrawn, and he basically is doing a Costco run on this planet with a bunch of stuff we don't know what it is. What is his plan?
The amount of content we got through Thrawn could have been shot in 2 days.
It was ridiculous, and it failed to establish Thrawn as even a threat as a character. What would have been a more interesting, what I'm saying is it's that kind of thing has been done better in so many other places in Star Wars already, where you meet a character and within 30 seconds of seeing that character, they've established it. They haven't done it with Thrawn. They're chanting Thrawn, 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 and then they've introduced stupid ideas into Star Wars like space whales and zombie stormtroopers. That just doesn't feel Star Wars to me. So, but the thing with Thrawn, my feeling with Thrawn is you could have established him as such a much better character. One, if he was cruel or intolerant of morons. He sort of got whoever he's got, right? But there's going to be some underlings that don't perform well, and they will be weeded out. I mean, you could have introduced Thrawn very simply with a scene where some underling comes up to him, approaches Thrawn, nervous, says, Grand Admiral, with all due respect, why are we wasting our time conquering? This is the third star system we've conquered. We're wasting resources. Why are we doing this? And he simply answers practice, right? Like something, the Thrawn that I saw in my head from reading the novels was a threat, was a genius tactician who studied the popular art of a world to tap into the fears of that world, to conquer a planet. I didn't get that sense at all. And I thought that he was making stupid moves. He would never have letting Sabine go. The purpose of that is to have her find Ezra so you can then kill Ezra, right? Like none of that was really established very well. And then even at the end, the finale, what was their plan to stop Thrawn? Well, how? Right? Even we don't need to know all the plan. What was their plan? They failed. Like, hey, if we can take out one of the engines, they can't leave for hyperspace, whatever. All we need to do is this. Not like you need to spell out every detail, but there was, what was the purpose? And then the whole thing was Sabine's goal was to save Ezra. And then they basically switched places. Now Sabine and Ahsoka are trapped in this other galaxy, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like, you just hyperspace around. It's another galaxy. So what? So I don't get why that was such a big deal. That wasn't well established. And then the fact that every criticism of this, look, I didn't see Rebels and I didn't see Clone Wars. I saw the first season of Rebels. I've seen some episodes of Clone Wars, but I'm not an expert on it. I don't know it, and I shouldn't have to. They failed in their storytelling by giving background. They should have given some sort of background. I think the whole season was a waste. It's, as if the brand of Star Wars wasn't already hobbled. This doesn't help. It's not going to bring in any new fans. And I thought it was a missed opportunity. Like almost everything Star Wars is a missed opportunity.
I've been
So,
calling it Star Was.
yeah, Star Wars. Like,
Trademark Tom Connors.
right.
I even had somebody made me a poster in the memers.
So I did not like that's sort of my season view with a little emphasis on the final episode. I feel like we got
So you
nowhere.
liked it?
No, the point is the point is because it's a TV show, you can't go anywhere. You can't finish a story. And even like if you look at like, to me, I just feel like Disney doesn't know how to do television. Look at Marvel, look at Star Wars. They don't know how to do television at all.
I don't think they know how to make movies right now either. And a lot of it has to do with the creative side of things.
Well, true. But what I'm saying is when you look at other companies like
yes, I get what you said. Like they make these shows that they're basically like one big long movie and then they chop them up. And then that's not even like a guess. They've literally admitted that that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, it's not satisfying. It's not resonating. When you look at compared to One Piece, another recent, and I'm not even I was never aware of the anime. Okay, so I was not a fan. They held my hand through everything. I got it. They established the world.
Yeah.
I don't need to know everything at once, but the backstories of everyone were just resonated so well.
Well, and they were written as actual episodes. That's, I think, what the point you're getting to, and you can feel that.
Yeah, you can feel they're written as episodes, so there is a conclusion to the conflicts that were, introduced in.
There's a bigger, broader story, but each I almost called it a movie. Each episode has its own little story within.
Right.
Yes,
it moves the story forward. I didn't feel like anything in Ahsoka. It wasn't like that's a satisfying ending. I never felt that. It felt like, are you just saving everything? Like, we already know Thrawn's going to come to the other galaxy. Just get to it. Get to it. Stop this. Like, it's like the whole thing is a freaking cock tease. It's so irritating to just show us the thing. Just show us the thing. And maybe that's what the Star Wars movies did really well. They didn't, at least I'm talking about the original 6. They didn't waste any time. It's like, let's get to it.
Well, that's because George knew show don't tell at that point.
Yeah, show don't tell. So I thought Ahsoka was a colossal disappointment. I really want to hear what everyone else has to say, but for me, it was a colossal disappointment and just terrible.
Well, I've been divorced from Star Wars for some time now, so to be able to be divorced, I have to not watch it. That means not give it any pity fucks or anything like that.
Right.
And that to me is what I see here with a lot of people. I discussed this with the guys over at Salty Nerd Podcast the other day, and that's what I said. Is basically I see a lot of folks that are basically giving Star Wars a pity fuck right now by watching Ahsoka. Because most of these people don't even give a shit about Ahsoka at the end of the day. And a lot of people are just trying to convince themselves that this is good. And then the rest of the people are just being honest and saying what it is, and it's crap. And that's because, as I've tried to warn people before, Dave Filoni is not somebody who should be running a franchise like this.
I'm enjoying some of the people who are defenders of Filoni saying it's his wife who's doing it. His wife's really writing this stuff. He's just a figurehead. I'm like, sure.
That's a new one for KK. And now let me write that shit down.
I was never intrigued by Ahsoka. And I had no great affinity for the cartoons, which put the show at a disadvantage to begin with. The lie that was told at the very beginning that you didn't need to have a background in this character, beyond what you've seen in Mandalorian or whatnot, was completely false. I did not enjoy Ahsoka. The only reason I started to tune in because I was very much online with what Tom is saying. The only reason I tuned in was because I thought the third episode was going to, convince me it was a comedy, because I just saw some really great clips of ridiculousness and space with lightsabers.
Just wait till they do a musical episode.
I'm sure they will. So that's kind of where I jumped back in. And then I watched every episode, caught up on the first 2 and all that. And I could not find anything in there that was redeemable or even represent Star Wars very well. I saw a lot of member berries. I saw a lot of out-of-character performances by characters in the show. I saw a lot of very slow-paced lightsaber duels that lacked any kind of swordsmanship skills. And if you're going to remove blasters from the conversation, which they didn't, I can't wait for the next show, which does. I have a feeling that you're going to lose even more of the audience. But the biggest problem I had with it was just dull. It was boring. It was a lot of empty space, a lot of silence between characters, a lot of talking around tables or standing around hallways talking about feelings. Everything about this was driven by a feeling by this Sabine character, who is, despite people's claims that she's a good actress, all evidence to the contrary. She lacked any kind of gravitas in any performance that she did. The only thing I was convinced of is she mastered resting bitch face. I got very frustrated with the lack of strategic ability of Thrawn, as Chris already described. I think they made kind of a mockery of an idea of somebody who thinks strategically. Again, we're at the point, and I've said this many times before over the course of the last couple of years, this is Star Wars in name only. All of these things are now in name only. And I'm telling you right now, if you look at the latest Rasmussen Reports survey, they've lost men. They've lost men. Men are no longer interested in a men's franchise. I don't know what else to say.
Well, that would be because it's no longer a men's franchise.
Yeah.
Star Wars right now has been made into a girls' franchise that girls don't care for, which men are barely allowed to watch. And especially when you see what's going to happen with the upcoming Acolyte, that specifically it's being advertised as men. There's no need to tune in for this. This is not for you. This is for female eyes only.
Well, it's pretty clear.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.